Just over a year ago, no one had heard of Greta Thunberg, but in 12 months, this Swedish schoolgirl has galvanised a generation. Inspired by her weekly climate strikes, millions have now joined her movement, and as a wave of protesters filled New York streets on Friday, Greta was there to greet them.
We are doing this to wake the leaders up. We are doing this to get them to act. We deserve a safe future. And we demand a safe future. Is that really too much to ask?
Out of the classroom and onto the streets, these teenagers in London say the climate emergency is far more important than their classes.
If we just went to school and ignored this, then it doesn't matter whether we've learned much or not, because we probably won't survive in the future.
The UN has warned we have just 11 years to reduce emissions to a level low enough to save the planet from catastrophic climate change. But these protesters don't believe politicians are acknowledging the urgency of the crisis or making the policy changes needed to stave off global heating.
We're in the biggest disaster of our time, and we might be like the first kind of race to document our own extinction.
Of course there are critics of this movement who say these students should be at school right now, but the students say this is the only way they've got to make their voice heard. They can't vote, but they can take to the streets and let those in power know that this is a generation that feels let down by its elders.
Protests were held in 135 countries. In Australia, 300,000 people joined in, making it the country's biggest protest since the rallies against the Iraq War in 2003. In Bangkok, around 200 students stormed the Environment Ministry and dropped to the ground feigning death as they demanded action to stop the planet dying. In Nairobi, protesters emphasised how the climate crisis, with its extreme weather and drought, will hit the world's poorest communities first. The rain was no deterrent in Istanbul as demonstrators demanded climate action, and as rallies took over the streets in Europe, students had one message for the leaders attending next week's UN climate meeting in New York.
That there is no time. Time is up, time is running, and this is our last chance to do something.
The single voice of Greta Thunberg may have been amplified around the world by millions on Friday, but now the protesters wait. Will their climate change activism translate into climate change action? Sarah Morice, TRT World, London.